tiz-ouzou, bonjour, and good morning. Now we are going to listen first to the national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished professors and researchers, honorable representatives of academic institutional bodies, the Dean of the Faculty of Letters and Languages, Professor Didier Gachou, the Head of the Department of English, Mr. Mohamed Hadadou, the General Secretary, Mr. Bourani Raspi, the Conference Chair, Professor Amar Gendouzi. It's not working. The Director of the Laboratory of Algerian Anglophone Studies, Professor Soriana Yassine, the President of the National Pedagogical Committee, Professor Fouzi Ambush. Dear colleagues, participants and guests, it is with great honor and sincere pleasure to welcome you today to the National Hybrid Conference on Teaching Foreign Humanities in the Algerian Higher Education Language Course. On behalf of the organizing committee, I extend to each of you our warmest greetings and heartfelt appreciation for your presence and engagement in this scientific academic event. Today's gathering brings together researchers, educators, curriculum designers, and specialists from across the country to reflect on a set of questions that lie at the heart of our educational mission. What should we teach in foreign humanities? Why should we teach it? And how can we teach it more effectively? These three guiding questions form the intellectual core of this conference. What to teach? In a rapidly changing world, the content of our humanities curriculum must balance tradition with innovation. Foreign literatures, linguistics, philosophies, cultural studies, and world civilizations all offer invaluable windows into human experience. They help share learners who are culturally aware, critically minded, and capable of engaging with global realities. Our task is to identify the knowledge, the texts, the approaches, the teaching paradigms, and the competencies that best prepare our students for the 21st century. Why teach it? The humanities are not an ornament to education, it's its foundation. It's a foundation. They equip students with the intellectual tools needed to interpret the world, to understand others, and to reflect upon themselves. In the context of Algerian higher education, teaching foreign humanities is also an act of opening toward all the cultures, all the histories, all the languages, and all the systems of meaning. It is through the humanities that learners develop empathy, intercultural competence, critical growth, and a sense of shared humanity. These values are essential not only for academic growth, but for the development of a more open and resilient society. The challenge of our era is not only what we teach, but how we teach it. New pedagogical paradigms, multimodality, digital humanities, film-based instruction, project-based learning, and intercultural pedagogy invite us to rethink our practices. Teaching humanities today requires creativity, innovation, and the intelligent use of technology. It calls for approaches that engage students actively, encourage interpretation, stimulate dialogue, and connect classroom learning to the world beyond the university. This conference is an invitation to exchange expertise, share experiences, discuss challenges, and imagine new pedagogical models suited to the Algerian context. Over the coming sessions, we will explore theoretical frameworks, share classroom practices and practical strategies, present learner-centered methodologies, and curriculum reforms that can strengthen the teaching of foreign humanities in our language departments. Ladies and gentlemen, our hope is that this conference becomes a space for reflection, collaboration, and inspiration, a moment where ideas meet, where perspectives converge, and where the future of humanities education in Algeria can be collectively envisioned. Before starting the opening session, I would like to thank all members of the scientific and organizing committees for their hard work and their precious time devoted to make this event happen. As I'd like to thank all the participants and speakers whose contributions give meaning to this event. Ladies and gentlemen, we now begin the opening session with a word from Professor Omar Gendouzi, the conference chair, whom I kindly invite to take the floor.
Dean of the faculty, Professor Lydia Gershouh, Mr. Head of the Department, Mr. Mohamed Haddadou, Mrs. Professor Soliane Yassine, Director of the Research Laboratory, and Professor José Amoroche, Chair of the National Pedagogical Committee, colleagues, dear colleagues, online and in person. I wish you welcome to this event. This event has a history, reasons behind it, and I am here. I will briefly explain these reasons behind this, the organization of this event, and also I will mention why the choice, what is the objective sought after this event. So, a few years ago, the CPND has started revising programs. It has held a meeting in Constantine which gathered all the responsables de domaine at the national level. And I was part of that event when I was responsible de domaine, and I witnessed the controversies surrounding the design of a new syllabi in literature and civilization. And unfortunately, the CPND met only for 1 day and a half and could not produce something which is valid, let's say, which is acceptable by everyone. This year too, the CPND met and is confronted with this idea of the program. And a lot is being said, a lot of controversies are taking place about these programs because it is envisioned differently from one university to another. In addition to this major reason, there is this year, since 2-3 years now, our university in tiz-ouzou is engaging in what we call projet d'établissement. And our university has put as the first action to improve the university to the revision of the syllabi at all levels, including, of course, the language departments. These two are reasons enough in order to launch the idea of this conference. However, the task is more difficult than what it seems. And I say it in French now. La tâche de refonder les programmes de littérature et civilisation, c'est plus profond que ça. The objective sought in this conference is not to reshuffle, to remanier the syllabi, to change, to replace one novel with another, to replace a novel with a film. The change that we are looking for, le changement que nous voulons, should be first and foremost based on epistemic foundations. Nous voulons connaître les fondements épistémiques de ce changement qu'on voudrait ramener à ces deux matières. because the world is changing and our teaching does not change. The world is changing politically, it's visible, but we as teachers, as professors, as researchers, we are interested in the epistemic change in the world. Because it's episteme which directs, which guides politics, not the opposite. Quand il y a un changement tectonique dans le monde, ce changement politique qui se voit à travers beaucoup d'événements, ce ne sont pas seulement des changements politiques, c'est d'abord des changements épistémiques. And I think we should find our place in this change. And question our teachings. Of course, it's easy to tackle controversial subjects. It's easy to say this is in civilization, okay. In the subject of a civilization, we can say this is good lesson, this is bad. When it is controversy, controversy is a good subject for a conference. However, I think in my humble point of view, our conference should not only deal with controversial subjects. It should question even what we take for granted. Si les enseignements de civilisation peuvent être considérés comme controversés et nécessitent qu'on réfléchisse, c'est bien. Mais plus compliqué, plus important, c'est de remettre certaines fondations. Par exemple, la littérature. J'ai vu dans le CPND, personne n'a remis en cause l'enseignement de littérature. C'était uniquement le changement des contenus qui était intéressant. Mais, comme dirait Bachelard, on est peut-être là dans un obstacle épistémologique. Parce que ça ne nous fait pas avancer à l'université. We do not pretend that this conference will answer all the questions. Okay, we'll try to ask as many questions. We will not necessarily bring answers. There will be conferences or other conferences for that. But at least we start the subject, hoping that we will return to it in other conferences, here in tiz-ouzou and elsewhere. And I invite all colleagues from different universities to engage in this reflection. As I said, because it's foundational. We cannot just change the surface when the core needs to be changed. And I express some disagreement with what I have heard at the beginning with my Dr. Butirna. It's time to question the foundations of our teaching. As I said, because the world is changing and we have to change. Otherwise, otherwise we disappear. This event was not possible without the contribution of many people, the head of which is our Dean of the Faculty and all her staff, the Secretary General, the Moyen General, etc. This event was not possible without the laboratory, okay, research of laboratory, the head of which, Professor Yassine, okay. I thank them all. And I thank the colleagues who believed in this conference and who applied. And we had to reject a few papers, not many, but we had to reject them because we had many contributions, many proposals, and we had also to reject a few because they did not fall in the subject. We are sorry for them, but we are happy to have some brilliant, I have read the abstracts, there are some brilliant presentations here. We will profit, inshallah, from the presence of Professor Amrosh, the chair of the CPND. We will ask her questions, and at the end, I don't know whether we'll have proposals, but at least we'll have questions for you, and we will hand you all the questions. Certainement qu'on va vous donner beaucoup de nos interrogations, beaucoup de nos incertitudes, que, inshallah, vous allez transmettre vous-même à qui de droit. Okay? I wish welcome to everyone, in person and online, and I hope you will enjoy and we will have constructive debates here. Thank you.
I have the pleasure of inviting Professor Yassine Soriana, the director of the Laboratory of Anglophone Algerian Studies.
Our guests, you are welcome. We are very happy to greet you here at the University of tiz-ouzou, and we are pleased to share with you this event. Before starting, I would like to express my great gratitude to my colleagues without whom this event couldn't have been launched. I'll start by our Dean of the Faculty, Professor Lydia Gershouh, the head of the department, Mr. Haddad Mohammed, Oh, and greatest thanks are going to go to Professor Gendouzi, head of a research team in our laboratory, who has contributed a lot and who could organize this event. It was not easy, but I am very happy here. Well, I'm going to be very brief. This is the second event which is organized by the Laboratory of Algerian Anglophone Studies, a laboratory that is very new and which tries to establish a research tradition by organizing some events related to different topics relating to Algerian Anglophone studies, going from language, linguistics, language studies, to literature, civilization, intercultural interactions, and introducing also some modern techniques and some new ways of teaching, mainly thinking in terms of multimodality, thinking in terms of openness, and thinking in terms of inclusion. We are really very pleased to have this opportunity, and the topic that is discussed today is of utmost importance, because humanities are very important and we need really to think about what to teach, how to teach it, and to whom to teach it. The world is changing, teaching should change, learners are changing, and the profession also is submitting many changes. I think that I'm going to stop here. I'm not very gifted for discourses, so thank you very much.
The head of our department to address the audience.
This is the Dean of the Faculty of Letters and Languages. This is the Director of Algerian Anglophone Studies Laboratory, Mr. the Chairman of this National Conference, Professor Amrouche, the Chair of the National Pedagogical Committee of the Domain, dear colleagues, specifically the members of the Organizing Committee and the Scientific Committee, dear participants, dear audience. It is with a great pleasure, of course, that we take part to the second scientific event organized by the Algerian Anglophone Studies Laboratory, the first national conference, hoping for next, why not international conference in the future?
It's in the radar.
Inshallah.
I'm working on it.
Inshallah. I'm very happy to be among you today to start this national conference on a subject or on a theme that is very important, that questions the way we teach, and that questions the need of adapting our teachings to the world, to the changing world in which we are. As Foucault said, institutions are by definition conservative. So institutions need time to adjust to the changing time, but as teachers and researchers, we're supposed to be the first to at least question and think for future adjustments, even if their implementation will not be immediate. I'm happy to be among you here to speak about teaching humanities in foreign languages in the higher education. Humanities are in the academy, specifically in the Algerian context, the humanities are generally seen as the rank and file of the academic world, while in reality it is the foundation of the academic world. It is the foundation of thinking, and everything starts from the humanities. So teaching humanities is paramount for the academic world, but also for society. So, and we need to reflect on the best way to envision the adjustment of these teachings to the changing world. As Professor Gendouzi has just said, it is sometimes controversial, the way of teaching, what to teach and how to teach in, how to teach it is can be controversial because there are different approaches. For example, in teaching literature, or should we teach, or civilization, should we teach thematically, or follow an interdisciplinary approach? But I'm sure that the debates that will follow and the contributions of the different participants will enlighten the discussion, and I'm sure that the recommendations that will be issued at the end of this national conference will help, if not changing immediately, at least laying the foundation of change, or triggering thinking, at least at the higher level of the Ministry of Education, on how to teach humanities and how to adjust to this changing world. Without delay, I wish you a very fruitful debate, and I welcome all the guests to tiz-ouzou. I hope that you will have a wonderful stay and fruitful debates. Thank you.
We now have the honor of hearing Professor Lidegher Shouh, the Dean of our faculty. Professor, the floor is yours.
Then I will try to speak in English. I'm very happy to be here with you for two reasons. It's the laboratory of Algerian and Anglophone studies. It's a new laboratory. Then it's a pleasure to see that we can organize the second conference, national conference. Then the second reason is to permit me to improve and practice my English. First I will welcome the guests of this event, especially Mrs. Amrou, the director of CPND, the chair of CPND, and all the conferencers, who are coming from different universities, national universities, Algerian universities. And thank you, Mr. Gendouzi, the chair of this event, for all that you do and Mr. Hadadou for your help to the organization of this event. Mrs. Soriana, it's a real pleasure to work with you and to contribute to the success of this event. I hope that you will organize an international event soon. Exactly. Then I have no doubt about the impact and the importance of this conference about teaching foreign humanities in the Algerian higher education language course. What to teach, why teach it, and how to teach it. Like said Mr. Gendouzi, it's important to have a reflection about the methods and the approaches about teaching of his absence, because he is occupied on duty elsewhere. He had another occupation, and for that I with honor I declare the opening of this event, and I wish you good luck to your activities.